Well, good evening, Internet. It's me, DP Knudten, for another edition of Bookward Bound, my 301-day journey from I should really do this to done. And what is that done? Well, that done is the creation of a brand new book by January 1st of 2021. What is that book called, you may ask? Well, you've already seen the cover right there. It's called Nonfiction Brand, Discover, Craft, and Communicate the Completely True, Completely You brand you already are. And that's what this whole thing's about. It's about teaching people about the idea of personal branding, what it is not, how to do it, and how to do it especially if you're a time-taxed individual, adult, and living in COVID-19 America right now, so that you can boost your awareness, your attractiveness, your engagement, your everything about yourself. That can all be done via an effective personal brand strategy. So I'm writing a book about that very thing, and I'm actually drawing upon a lot of the interviews that I've done on my Nonfiction Brand podcast, which comes out every single Monday. In fact, this past Monday, or yesterday, episode 110 came out with Don Stanley, my friend, or actually I think it's 109. Either way, with my friend Don Stanley, who's a professor at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, here in Madison, Wisconsin, where I live. Very interesting episode, which I would invite you to check out when you can. But that's not what I'm going to write about today, because I finished the section I was writing about Don, last night, and now I'm thinking about a podcast interview that I'm going to be doing tomorrow with Andy Crestodina of Orbit Media Studios down in Chicago. Great guy, really great guy. And they just came out with some new data on blogging. Like they've interviewed, or they do a survey of hundreds of bloggers, asking them questions on everything about blogging. And so I'm definitely going to be talking to him about that, especially because a lot of bloggers have really effectively grown their personal brands via the technique of blogging. So that'll be very, very interesting. But I've already had him on the podcast, and I've already talked to him a little bit. And so I've written up a section featuring him, but it's only 877 words right now, and I want to make that about double that. So between the interviews tomorrow that I will edit on the weekend, I think, I am going to find out more information to pull from the podcast and include in the book. Because, let's face it, if you got someone who's an expert like Andy Crestodina, make it work by making him do the work. Well, not do the work, but put him in the book for sure, because he is such a great value-added guy. That said, what am I working on here? Well, hold on. I have to make sure I'm actually going out live, and I am, to Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch. So every once in a while you'll see me looking off camera or looking away from my main screen, just to make sure everything is in fact playing well with the gods of technology. And so far, they are. And I can tell that you can hear my voice, which is a good thing as well. So anyway. Andy Crestodina. How about blogging is great? Blogging data better. Because he's all about the data. And that's what I want to point out about him. So I'm kind of going through this and preparing to have another section about this. So this blog post below. Exception. See, Andy, right? Fast forward to several months later. Let's see. Look this up. When did I have him on the first time? Open up numbers. Let's see. Just do a find for Andy. The 7. So 46, 47. That was 7. So what? I always have to do that. July. Just 4. Oops. Fast forward to September. Of 20. Loggy data. Goodness. Continues. Another is 7th annual. Date of logging report. And I can talk about that. That I have not renamed. I've added to call content simply, but it's the idea thing. Where? All right, so at the end of each section, I have a thing that looks like this. The nonfiction brand, moral of Andy's story. If you this that glare out of my face, if you want to considered a authority, any no better prove you R. Share. Original. Search. Assistant. Time. Way. Andy. Recognized. Log expert. Now. Sure, his first. Logging. Post. Recognized expert on blogging he is now. Being no. Not likely. Tenacity. Consistency. Thing. Sub. Earned. That. What is it? Position. That's good. So I am going to. You were better. I bet you I could take that. I could. Safari. Hello, Safari. Where are you? Oh, it's right there. So, orbit. And look, I only have to new blogging statistics. Out there. I can drag this straight in and scale it down. Do DPI. Let's bring it down to 3. Ooh. And actually, put this in. I need to make this grayscale. And it is Andy Crestodina. (2020) log art. There, I can take this in. I can very quickly adjust color by getting rid of the saturation. So I've got that. File, export, PNG. I'm going to do it as a JPEG because a little bit more control. Get the best quality. Make sure it's GS for grayscale. Make sure it's going to the right place. Say there. Drag the new one in. Scale. Okay, that's 300, close to 300 dpi. That's fine. Do the same thing with this one. Tools. Color. Say goodbye to saturation. Goodbye, saturation. Do this. Crop it. Save. Export. Big. So I can get the highest quality. Best quality. Video log. Say that in. Get rid of that. Let's see. That's 339 dpi, so cool with that. Yay. Same thing down here. Dog blogging sits. Okay, so good. And I also have a picture of him. Want to plug in as well. That would be under podcast guest photo. That one up. Let's grayscale it. Tools. Just color. Goodbye. Up the color. quit. Didn't mess up. Oh, it did. It will. Gotta be in color. Find it again. Oh. Down to 250. Down to 2. Yeah, I want to get that as close to 300 DPI as I can. You want to skip. Okay, so this would be in the book file. Ooh. Two, 5. Inch. $200. Zero. Okay. So I've got a bunch of stuff in here, as I say, and I'm going to be having Andy on for a podcast recording tomorrow. So I'm going to ask him some more detailed questions about, his blogging strategy, especially his use of data, because, frankly, I don't know anyone who does it better to create more compelling content with really great compelling data as well. So I definitely want to tap into that mastery. And again, tout his book, which I keep right here. His book is called Content Chemistry, the Illustrated Handbook to Content Marketing. And frankly, if you ask me, it's the one book you need to buy and memorize and then use right by and keep right by your desk every single day. It's just that good. So anyway, where am I with the book? Well, first off, I'm going to keep Andy with this Andy section with a yellow flag, meaning it's not quite done yet, because I do have some pull quotes to pull from podcasts and get in here. And I also am going to be having a new extended conversation with Andy, which will undoubtedly create some really great new inputs. Inputs? That sounds like trainings and learnings. Have you ever noticed that? The words people are talking about, I've done some new trainings and the learnings from my trainings. I hate that. It's as bad as calling the Chicago Cubs Cubbies. It's like you can't more dominionize something that's been dominionized. Well, learnings and trainings are the same thing as learning. I learned some things at a training session I attended. Not, I had some learnings from my trainings. Just saying. Yeah, that's what gets my Irish up, my ire up. Is that where ire comes from? Ire? It's your Irish? I now I have to look that up. And you know, the funny thing is, I am that kind of guy who will look it up because I love words and I love etymology. Not entomology so much, because that's about bugs, but etymology is about words. So I do look up words, where they came from, where their usage started. You know, I just looked up a quote today that I dearly love. I hate writing, but I love having written. Now, just this past week, I said I attributed that phrase to Dorothy Parker. Apparently, she never said it, but there was a novelist named Norris in 1916 or something like that actually coined that phrase, or at least that's what Quote Investigator, I think that's what they're called, Quote Investigator found. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to look up ire to see if that's if Ireland generated the word ire, etc. But I digress, which is my way. That's it for me tonight. I'm DP Knudten for the Nonfiction Brand podcast, which comes out every Monday. And yesterday's episode featuring Don Stanley is a really good one, so check that out wherever you get your fine podcasts for free. And check it out every Monday as well. If you like the podcast, please give it a like and subscribe to it. That'd be super duper. But if you really, really wanted to help me, you'd refer it to friends and you'd give me a review on whatever podcast source you get it from, you know, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and now, just recently, it's now on Amazon Music as well. So check out the Nonfiction Brand podcast, and you'll see a picture that looks something like that. That's the cover art, not the full book cover, but that's that central section is the cover art for the podcast. So if you see that, you'll know you're in the right place. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for helping keep me honest and keep me coming down here to work on this book every single night. That's it for tonight. I got to go upstairs and watch a presidential debate. Yeah, I am that kind of masochist. I'll see you tomorrow, as I say. But until then, theme music, take us on out. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.